Hello everyone. Today's topic of discussion is inequalities. So what I'll be doing in this topic is that I'm going to start with the very basics of inequalities because I've observed that many students face difficulties in this particular chapter. So in this video, we'll be only discussing linear inequalities with one variable. Okay, we'll understand what exactly is inequality, what are the different signs that we use in inequalities, and then how do we plot them on a number line. Okay, so these are the three things that we'll be discussing in this video. So let's get started. The very first thing that we need to understand is the signs which are used in inequalities. So let's try and understand this. Now, whenever you talk about two expressions, let's call them A and B, there are three things which are possible. One is A can be equal to B, another is A can be greater than B, and the third one is A can be less than B. Now, using these three, we are able to form like two more relationships. So the fourth one, which we can say is A is greater than or equal to B, and the last one is A is less than or equal to B. Now these are our five relationships. Okay. Now when you say A is equal to B, everyone understands the meaning of this. That is A and B are both equal. When I say A is equal to B, that means A and B are both equal. They both can be positive, they both can be negative, they both can be zero also. When I say A is greater than B, so let me make you understand this with the help of the number line. So this is my number line. So it extends on the left to negative infinity, it extends to the right on positive infinity. Now when I say A is greater than B, what that typically means is, let's say B is somewhere here on the number line. I do not know whether this is positive, negative or zero. B can be positive, B can be zero, B can be negative also. B can be anything. But when I say A is greater than B, what that means is that A will come to the right of B. What that means is, on a number line, A will come to the right of B. That is, A can be here, A can be here also, A can be here, and so on and so forth. A can be anywhere on the right of B on a number line. This is what is meant by A greater than B. Okay? For example, if I say that B is equal to some value -3. Now when I say A is greater than B, that means A can be -2.8. At this, another example is A can also be, for example, 0. A can also be 100. All three values are applicable. So this is what is meant by A greater than B. Similarly, when I say A is less than B, so let's try and decode that. So let's say B is somewhere here on the number line. Now when I say A is less than B, that means A can be anywhere on the left of B on a number line. A can be anywhere on the left of B on a number line. For example, if B is here, then A can be here, A can be here, A can be here, and so on and so forth. Anywhere on the left will work. For example, if I say B is -5, then A can be -6, A can be -7, A can be -100, all values are possible. If B is a positive number, for example 10, then A can be 9, A can be 0, A can be -200 also. This is also applicable. So this is what is meant by A greater than B, and this is what is meant by A less than B. If a number is greater, then it will lie to the right of the other number. If a number is smaller, then it will lie to the left of the other number. Next one is A greater than or equal to B. So when I say A greater than or equal to B, let's see what that means. So let's say B is somewhere here on the number line. Now I am saying that A is greater than or equal to B. Now when I say A is greater than or equal to B, that means A can be equal to B as well as it can be greater than B also. So A can be equal to B and A can be greater than B also. So if A is greater than or equal to B, either A will lie on B or it can lie to the right of B on the number line. For example, if I say B is equal to 8, in that case I can say A can be equal to 8, A can also be equal to 8.1, A can also be equal to 10, it can also be equal to 1000. You can take a negative value also. This is minus 12, so A can be minus 12, A can be 0, A can be 1000. Everything is applicable. So this is what is meant by A greater than or equal to B. Now the last thing is A less than equal to B. So let's try that also. So when you say A is less than or equal to B, so if I keep B here, then A can be any value equal to B or less than B. So A can be equal to B, A can be less than B also. So that means A can be on B or A can be to the left of B. For example, if you take B to be 11 for example, then you can say A can be 11, A can be 0, A can be 6 also, A can be minus 100 also. All values are applicable. So this is what you need to understand. So these are basically the 4 types of inequalities which you need to understand. Okay, this is what is meant by inequalities. Okay, something that is not equal. Alright. So we'll start with the first thing, that is linear inequalities with one variable, and we'll stick to that only as far as this video is concerned. So let's start with something very simple. So question is again solve for x, and the first part is given to you that x plus 3 is greater than 7. Now before we go into this, just a couple of things which I would like to discuss, which you all need to know also. Now if I say that A is greater than B, if I say that A is greater than B, and if you happen to add a constant on both sides of inequality, then your sign of inequality does not change. Or rather than taking it to be A and B, let's take numbers. Since the results are generalized, so they will be applicable for any numbers that we take. So let's do one thing, let's take 12 is greater than 10. So while taking numbers, I believe that it's easier to remember stuff with numbers than variables. So let's take it 12 to be greater than 10. Now let's add 2 on both the sides. If I add 2 on both the sides, I'll realize that left hand side will become 14, right will become 12. So 14 will be greater than 12. Now imagine this, if on the one side you have 12, if on the other side you have 10. We all know 12 is greater than 10. Now add the same constant on both sides of inequality, the same constant. Can you think of any number for which 12 plus constant will become less than 10 plus constant? What I mean to say is, I'm adding a constant, so let's say the constant is k. Can you think of any constant for which 12 plus k will become less than 10 plus k? Can you think of any value? It will not be, right? It's not possible. Why? For the very fact that when you talk about a number line, 10 will be on the left of 12. 10 will be on the left of 12. Now if you're adding the same constant, they both will go to the right by the same distance. If you're adding a constant, 10 and 12 will both go to their right with the same distance. Now 12 is already 2 units ahead of 10. So if you're adding the same constant, 12 plus constant will again be 2 units ahead of 10 plus constant. For example, the constant is 5, so 10 will reach 15 and 12 will reach 17. So whenever you add a constant, your sign of inequality does not change. Remember that. Similarly, when you subtract a constant, for example, you subtract 2. When you subtract a constant, again the sign of inequality does not change. Again, you can think of this on the number line. A half, 10, a half, 12. 12 again is 2 units ahead. If you are reducing both the numbers 10 and 12 by same constant, again the difference will be the same. For example, if you subtract 2, so 10 will reach 8 and 12 will reach 10. Again the difference is 2. Or the point is, whenever you subtract, again the sign of inequality will not change. Third thing is, whenever you multiply by a positive constant, whenever you multiply by a positive constant. So for example, if you're multiplying by 2, the left hand side will become 24 and right hand side will become 20. Which of them is greater? 24 is greater. However, when you multiply by a negative constant, then your sign of inequality reverses. Because what is 12 into minus 2? It's minus 24. And what is 10 into minus 2? That's minus 20. You can also think of it in this way. Remove the minus sign. Simply think of it as 12 into 2 and 10 into 2. Now, when you'll multiply 12 by 2, we all know that we are going to get a bigger result in comparison to when we are going to multiply 10 with 2. Because 12 is a bigger number. But when I'm going to put a negative sign in front of 24, can I say that bigger the number in negative, smaller effectively it is? What I mean by that is, if you draw the number line, if I have 0 here, I'm going to have minus 1, I'm going to have minus 2, I'm going to have minus 3 and so on and so forth. Now I know that 3 is greater than 2, but as soon as I put a negative sign, minus 3 becomes less than minus 2. So bigger the number we have in negative, smaller it is effectively. So for example, minus 24 will be less than minus 20. Therefore, your sign changes. Similarly, when you go to division, when you divide by a positive quantity, for example, if I want to divide both sides by 2, so 6 is greater than 5. Sign will not change. But when you divide it by a negative quantity, then you will have minus 6 and minus 5. Now 6 is greater than 5, but when I say minus 6 and minus 5, bigger the number with negative sign, smaller it is effectively. Bigger the number with negative sign, smaller it is effectively. So you're going to have minus 6 and minus 5. So which of them is greater? Minus 5 is greater. So you need to remember two things. Whenever you multiply and divide by a negative quantity, your sign of inequality changes. Okay, as of now, just remember this. This is more than sufficient for this video. Let's come back to the question now. Excuse me. So solve for x when x plus 3 is greater than 7. So I need to find out the value of x. So what I'm going to do is, I have this 3 additional here. I need to remove this 3. I need to get rid of this 3. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to subtract 3 on both the sides. And we know that whenever we subtract, the sign of inequality does not change. Whenever we subtract, the sign of inequality does not change. So I'm going to have x plus 3 minus 3 is greater than 7 minus 3. So I'm going to have x is greater than 4. Now what do you mean by x greater than 4? Go to the number line. Let's say 4 is somewhere here on the number line. So when you say x is greater than 4, that means any value to the right of 4 will be your answer. Any value to the right of 4 will be your answer. Now you may be confused that what this 0 here represents. This basically means we are excluding this point. If it's a hollow small circle, that means you're excluding the point. If it's a filled circle, in that case we are including the point. So in this case 4 is not part of my solution. Anything greater than 4 is part of my solution. Okay, this is basically what it represents. Alright, let's move on forward. Okay, one more thing. You can say that your answer is x greater than 4. Another way of representing this is, I can say that x belongs to 4 to infinity. X belongs to 4 to infinity. Now let's decode this, the brackets specifically, because many people do get confused with this. Okay, first of all, this sign that you see which looks like E, this is known as epsilon, which means belongs to. Which means belongs to. So x belongs to 4 to infinity. Now when I use these brackets, these are basically known as open brackets. So whenever you use open brackets, in that case, the endpoints are not part of my solution. So when I say x is greater than 4, then x belongs to 4 to infinity with open bracket. Now 4 is not part of my solution. Anything greater than 4 is part of my solution. Okay, and infinity is a number that is as high a number as you can imagine. So when you talk about infinity, you always have an open bracket. Okay, we'll be having closed brackets also. So once we get to that question, I'll explain you what is a closed bracket. Alright, so I think the first one is clear to everyone. Let's move on to the next one. So the next one is before we go on to this, let's take one more simple problem. So I have 2x plus 8 which is greater than minus 4. Again the problem is with 2x I have 8 here also. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to subtract 8 on both the sides. So I'm going to get 2x plus 8 minus 8 is greater than minus 4 minus 8. So I'm going to get 2x is greater than minus 12. Now I have 2x, I'm looking for x. So divide both sides by 2. And from here you're going to get x is greater than minus 6. You can again go to the number line. Put 6 somewhere. Sorry, minus 6. Any value greater than minus 6 is part of your solution. Or in other terms, you can also say that x belongs to minus 6 to infinity. X belongs to minus 6 to infinity. Alright, let's move on to the next one. So we have 2x by 5 plus 8 is less than equal to minus 6. Okay, we have 2x by 5 plus 8 is less than equal to minus 6. So the first thing is I need to get rid of 8 on the left hand side. So I'm gonna have 2x by 5. Now I'm gonna directly solve it. So I'm gonna like subtract both sides by 8. So I'm gonna get 2x by 5 is less than equal to minus 14. And then I need to get rid of 2 by 5. So I'm gonna like multiply both sides by 5 by 2. So x is less than equal to minus 14 into 5 by 2. So this is minus 7 into 5. So this will give you x is less than equal to minus 35. So we can again go back to the normal number line. So put 35 somewhere here, minus 35, sorry. So I have x less than equal to minus 35. So anything less than or equal to minus 35 would satisfy. So I'm gonna put a dot, and then anything less than it will satisfy. Okay, so you can say that your answer is either x is less than equal to minus 35, or if you want to use the brackets, then you can say that x belongs to, now since it's less than equal to minus 35, so I'm gonna have from minus infinity to minus 35 and close brackets. Since the value of x is less than or equal to minus 35, so I'm gonna take the values which are less than or equal to minus 35. So I'm gonna go towards minus of infinity. Alright, I'm gonna go towards minus of infinity. So this one here is bracket. This here is known as the close bracket. Now whenever you use the close bracket, that means the extreme value is taken into consideration. Or you can put it this way, extreme value, we remove all this, is part of the solution. Extreme value is part of the solution. So minus 35 is part of the solution for this question. Okay. Alright, let's try more. For example, let's say 2x plus 8 is greater than 7 and x plus 6 is less than 12. Now both are linear equalities. Now in this case, what I have to do is I need to find out the values of x from both the linear inequalities, and whatever is the common region or whatever is the common solution to both the inequalities, that will be my answer to this question or to this pair of inequalities. So if I say 2x plus 8 is greater than 7, let's solve the one on the left. So you can like subtract 8 on both the sides. So 2x will be greater than minus 1, or x will be greater than minus half. And the second one, x plus 6 is less than 12. So I'm going to subtract 6 on both the sides. So I'm going to have x is less than 6 directly. So now let's plot them. Let's plot both of them on a single number line. So minus half will be somewhere here and 6 will be somewhere here. X is greater than minus half. Greater than minus half means region which is to the right of minus half. Less than 6 means region which is to the left of 6. So you all can observe that this is the common region that I have for the values of x, which will satisfy both the inequalities. So x lies basically between minus half and 6. or you can also write your answer as x belongs to minus half and 6. Now again I'm using open brackets because minus half and 6 are not part of my solution. Minus half and 6 are not part of my solution. Alright, let's try one more. Let's take one complex linear inequality. For example, 18 is less than equal to 3x plus 5, which is less than equal to 28, for example. Now there are two ways of solving this. One is you rewrite this complex inequality into two inequalities, such as 18 is less than equal to 3x plus 5 and 3x plus 5 is less than equal to 28. Okay, then you solve it. So I'm going to be using the other method. This one you all should know by now. So you should be able to solve it using this method. I'm going to use the other method. So I'm going to keep this inequality as it is. I'm not going to bifurcate this, or I'm not going to divide this into two parts. So what I'm going to do is, my actual concern is to calculate the value of x. This is my question. Solve for x, as we all know that. So what I'm going to do is, first of all, I need to get rid of 5, which is in 3x plus 5. So I'm going to subtract 5 in all the three. So 18 minus 5 is 13, which is less than equal to 3x, which is less than equal to 23. The signs will not change because whenever we subtract, the sign of inequality does not change. Then I'm going to divide all sides by 3. So I'm going to have 13 by 3, which is less than equal to x, which is less than equal to 23 by 3. You can solve it using this way also. You can also say that x belongs to, close bracket, 13 by 3, no commas, 23 by 3. Alright. Okay, now you may come across one more type of bracket. Like for example, you may have a solution something like, let's say you solve an inequality and you get your answer as that the value of x is minus infinity to 2 union 2 to infinity. Union basically means this is also the solution and this is also the solution. They both are the solution. Okay. So we got this value that x is minus infinity to 2 and 2 to infinity. Now what this means is, any value from minus infinity to infinity is part of my solution apart from 2. Any value from minus infinity to infinity is part of my solution apart from 2. So you can write it in this way, or if you want to like combine these two ranges, then you can also say that x belongs to minus infinity to infinity apart from the number 2. So this is known as curly brackets, and whenever you use these brackets, the numbers which are mentioned inside the brackets, only those numbers are to be taken into consideration. Whenever you use a curly brackets, the numbers inside the brackets, you will only take those numbers for consideration. For example, if I say that the value of x is minus infinity to infinity minus curly bracket 3 comma 5, so you will not take 3 and 5 into consideration. Just 3 and 5, that's it. Not 3 to 5, just 3 and 5. Okay, this is what curly bracket stands for. So that will be all for linear inequalities with one variable. This is more or less that you need to know. I hope this helps you. If you have any doubts, any concern, do let me know in the chat box or in the comment box. Okay, thank you so much for watching the video. keep watching and keep learning, guys. Thank you so much.